you are new to the channel, I am making my own tactics RPG with the Godot Engine, where you can explore towns with multiple playable characters and go into battles in a turn-based style with classic isometric art. In this video, I'm going to share some updates to my game. I've reworked the character animations and navigation systems in towns. I've also reworked some character designs. They still don't look great, but I think they are better than before. The reason I had to rework the implementation is because I found it very tedious to add new characters, and I knew there must be a better way. I have been manually setting up the character animations from sprite sheets, and it's just too much work when I want to add more NPCs or playable characters. For the new implementation, in my base character class, I have this character data property, which contains the details and assets of the character, such as the name, ID, and also the sprites. There is an animation player, animation tree, and animated sprite 2D nodes in this scene, which will be automatically set up by the new methods that I implemented. The animations have a fixed number of frames, and the height and width is needed so that it knows how it will cut up the frames for the animations. There are 3 main animations, which are idle, walk, and run, and there are 4 directions, although diagonal movement is also allowed. As you can see here, I iterate through each action and each direction, and this will generate the animation frames and makes it much easier to add new characters with new sprites. There's also a logic to set up the animation player and animation tree node for the character. The animation player is used to change node properties based on the selected animation. I have this method to set up the animation player, which will set up the keyframes of the nodes for each animation names. For example, with this NPC, the active animation in the animated sprite 2D and the rotation of the direction node, which is used for interacting, is changed based on the selected animation. The animation tree manages the character's animation state based on the input, either from the player's keystrokes or from the character's behavior logic. I have this method to set up the animation tree of the character, which is actually kinda complicated to explain, but basically it will programmatically set up this animation tree that you are seeing right here. In my playable character class, which inherits the base character, the keystrokes are handled in this method, and it updates the input vector that will be used in the animation tree logic to tell which animation state should be used. In the move method in my base character class, it updates the blend position of the animation states to compute which direction of the animation it will use. And there is a flag if it should run or walk, but this is only triggered by the player for now. If the character is not moving, it will just go to the idle state. The direction from the last animation will stay upon changing to idle. Some extra calculations here are just used to kinda reduce the smoothness of the movement so they can look a bit more natural. This setup logic runs in the enter tree method of the base character class, and this also has a tool annotation so that it will run in the editor, so that I can see right away the animations of the character. That covers the character animation so far when in town, but I will be adding more later. I also added logic for town characters so that they can walk around. I use Navigation Region 2D to generate walkable paths for uncontrolled characters. By grouping the obstacle nodes that have static body 2D, it cuts those areas out so they will be avoided. I have this character navigator node that I can use two characters so that they can navigate between patrol points. It has a property to select which character to control and a list of node points to patrol. It has a navigation agent 2D which will be attached to the character body for it to work. The navigation point node is used for the navigation and has editable properties to make the character wait at that point and also to specify which direction to face when it's reached. The logic of moving the navigation agent and the character body is in this physics process method. If there are no any patrol points, or if the player is currently controlling the character, or if the character is talking, it will stop navigating on its own. There's also another condition here that when the target is already reached, it will block the navigation until it surpasses the waiting time that is set into the navigation point. Once it's already past the waiting time, the target will move to the next patrol point. While the target is not reached, it will proceed to do the navigation logic here. It also uses the move method of the base character class after updating the input vector. I also have an event handler here that is triggered when the current target is reached. This listens to the target reach signal of the navigation agent, and this function will face the character based on the direction that is configured at the patrol point. So to show how these new implementations will work, I will add this new character into the town, but I want her to appear inside the inn at the second floor. So to start, I will create a new folder here for the new NPC. I will just give it a generic name for now. Each character should have a character data resource, which I already have a sample that I can duplicate here, and I just need to fill in the values. Let's give her some generic name for now, and the town sprites is the one that I've shown earlier, so I'm just going to drag that here. Then let's create a new scene, and I will add the NPC scene into it, which has a script with the non-playable character class that inherits the base character. This class is currently empty, but that doesn't matter for now. The base character class needs the character data, so I will just select the new character data that we just created. So you can see here that there's still no animation showing, but when I reopen the scene, it should now generate them. So looking inside the NPC node, we can see that the animation frames were already generated in the animated sprite 2D. And it also set up the animation player. It will already have the animation names that can be selected, and the keyframes are also properly set up for each animations. Finally, the animation tree is also set up. These are just not properly arranged, but I think it's because they were created programmatically, but it should be fine. As we can see here, there's the three states: idle, walk, and run. The blend space 2D is also been set up, and the animations are already plotted with different vector values for the directions in each state. So let's now add the new NPC in here. And for the navigation, I will add a node 2D under the NPC and rename it with a proper name. Then add the character navigator into it and select the character to control. I will also add another node 2D to group the patrol points that we will add. Then we can add the navigation points inside it. So to customize the patrol points, At the first target, let's make her stay for 2 seconds and face to the right before moving to the next one. At the second target, wait for 3 seconds and face upwards. At the third target, wait for 5 seconds facing right. Then at the fourth target, wait for 2 seconds facing down. After the fourth target, it will just go back to the first point and repeat. So let's try it out. Starting at the town, let's go to the inn. Actually, let's use another character. Then let's go to the building and go to upstairs. Then we can now see the new NPC here patrolling around. So there's still room for improvements here. For example, we can see that it's kind of flipping between animations at the start of the navigation, which doesn't look good, but yeah, that's for another time. There's still some logic around this that isn't implemented yet. For example, I want some characters to go inside buildings and I will need a manager script to keep track of the character states in the town. I will also need to implement a behavior tree so that characters seem like they have their own things to do aside from just patrolling around. That's it for this video. If you want to follow along with my game's development, please consider subscribing to my channel. I try to upload new devlogs about my progress whenever I can. Thanks for watching.